It's now 6:59 on this Tuesday morning. High temperature on Monday was 32 degrees. That came at 2:12 p.m. 2 below the normal high for the 26th of September, 5 above last year's high. Low temperature of 27 came at 2:10 a.m. Right on the average low for the date and 10 above last year's low temperature. Average temperature on Monday was 30 degrees. That's right on the average for the 26th of September, and it's 8 above last year's average. Highest gust of wind from the east at 27 miles an hour. We're right in the middle of Sea Otter Awareness Week and National Dog Week. The last Wednesday in September is known as Women's Health and Fitness Day. And September 27th known as Ancestor Appreciation Day, World Tourism Day, National Scarf Day. It's Crush a Can Day. Good morning, it's 7 o'clock, and you're listening to KBRW, 680 AM in Barrow, Etkasuk and Wainwright, 91.9 FM in Barrow, 88.1 FM in Kaktovik, Noexit and Point Lay, 101.5 FM in Point Hope and Anaktuvik Pass, and worldwide at kbrw.org. Community radio for the North, so broadcasting from the top of the world, Barrow, Alaska. Tuesday, September 27th is the 270th day of 2022, short-term forecast for the northern Arctic coast. Today and tonight, cloudy with areas of freezing fog. A high today near 32, overnight low around 28, east winds around 15 miles an hour. Wednesday, mostly cloudy with areas of freezing fog. A high near 32, east winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. 29 degrees right now, northeast winds at 10 miles an hour. The wind chill at 20, barometer 29.87.
This is statewide news from Alaska Public Media. I'm Michael Finelli. People who left Gastineau Avenue after Monday's landslide can return home, the city and borough of Juneau said yesterday afternoon. But they're asking everyone else to stay away for now. Tom Matisse, Juneau's emergency programs manager, said one home was completely destroyed by the slide and 2 more were damaged. Many homes on the street still don't have power, and there's no timeline for restoring it. Matisse said people will have to decide on their own when they feel safe returning.
We can't tell them when it's safe or when it's not safe, but with no rain over the last 12 hours, the hazard is definitely declining, and this hazard is a channelized, localized hazard.
Matisse said the city is still assessing whether it will need to do anything to stabilize the slide area. Taylor Sawson with the Red Cross said 12 people came to the emergency shelter after the landslide. They were given hotel vouchers for the night. Sawson said the slide was a reminder that everyone should be ready to go in case of emergencies.
You know, it's really a good idea to make sure that you have an evacuation kit or an emergency kit somewhere in your home so that if you have to evacuate at a moment's notice, you're not spending those precious moments that you could be getting to safety, packing, items that you may need.
The city says that debris removal could take several days. In other news, in the Bering Strait region, children in households without running water are much more likely to get middle ear infections, a new study confirms. The Alaska Beacon reports that data from screenings of more than 1,600 school children in various communities in that part of western Alaska found that a lack of running water, a chronic problem in rural Alaska, corresponded to a 50% higher rate of middle ear infections. Young children, aged 3 to 6, were most at risk, the study found. Though the study found a strong link between lack of running water and ear infections, that link did not extend to children's hearing loss. The study also did not find a link between other known risk factors like crowded housing and indoor smoke. Doctors and scientists have long tied poor water and sanitation service in rural Alaska to health problems, with infants and young children especially affected. That is especially the case for respiratory diseases such as RSV, a chronic problem in rural Alaska. More recently, the link has been confirmed for COVID-19 in rural Alaska. High prevalence of ear infections and associated hearing loss among Alaska Native children has been documented for decades, at least as far back as the 1960s, when it was found to be correlated with higher rates of respiratory disease. This is Alaska Public Media.
The Alaska Morning News is brought to you in part by
GCI. Since 1979, GCI has been committed to bringing connectivity to all ends of the state, from Unalaska to the North Slope and beyond, helping all Alaskans thrive. More at gci.com/business.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Workday, an enterprise management cloud focused on providing organizations with a system to continuously plan for all what-if scenarios. Workday, the finance, HR, and planning system for a changing world.
The morning edition on KBRW is brought to you in part by Aztec, the Arctic Slope Telephone Association Cooperative. Now, time for the KBRW Morning Report.
Good morning. It's 7:08 on this Wednesday morning, September 28th. The story comes from Lisa Fu of the Alaska Beacon. Retired Alaska State Trooper Lieutenant Lonnie Piscoya is Alaska's new missing and murdered Indigenous persons investigator. He fills the vacancy left by Ann Sears, who went back into retirement in early September after 5 months on the job. Piscoya, who retired in 2018 after 25 years with the troopers, is now responsible for leading the Alaska Department of Public Safety's outreach efforts for the Missing or Murdered Indigenous Persons Initiative and will assist the Alaska Bureau of Investigation with both active and cold case murder and missing person cases involving Alaska Natives. Sears' last day on the job was September 2nd. Piscoya's first day was September 19th. He had been happily retired for almost 4 years before Public Safety Commissioner James Cockrell asked him to fill the role. It took him a week to decide. But Piscoya saw that the job was a culmination of what I had been seeing and hearing and knowing about all my life in Nome. We've got murdered and missing Indigenous people, my own people, and so I thought it was a worthy cause to come out of retirement to take on. Piscoya said, "These are some of my uncles and aunts and cousins and friends that I've learned all my life that this has happened. And as a trooper of 25 years, it was just continuous." Piscoya, from Nome and a tribal member of the Nome Eskimo community, joined the troopers in 1993. During his career, he patrolled in Fairbanks, Galena, Interior Alaska, Southeast Alaska, and Ketchikan. He worked as a deputy post supervisor, the AST Tactical Team Dive member, and Detachment Deputy Commander. Piscoya currently lives in Soldotna and will be primarily based there for this job. He's committed to leading the MMIP initiative for a year. He said, "I can't give you a number of how many cases I would like to have resolved or solved or completed. It's difficult to say how long each of these cases would take to solve them and to make an arrest or to charge somebody. But I want to leave after at least a year's time with some of these cases solved. I can't give you a number. If it's just one, well, that's one more case that's been solved, and there's another set of family members that can have closure." Across the country, thousands of cases of missing and murdered Indigenous people are unsolved, and many go unreported. Of states with the highest number of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls cases, Alaska is 4th. According to a report by the Urban Indian Health Institute, Anchorage ranks 3rd in the top 10 cities with the most cases. In 2020, Alaska ranked 1st in the nation in the rate of women killed by men, 3.43 per 100,000 women, according to the most recent Violence Policy Center report. Of those women killed, American Indian, Alaska Native women are disproportionately impacted. The rate of American Indian, Alaska Native women killed by men in the state was 12.63 per 100,000 women, which is more than 3.5 times the rate for all women in Alaska, 10 times the rate for white women in Alaska. U.S. Department of Justice recently announced it will provide more than $246 million in grants to Native American and Alaska Native communities for improvements in law enforcement and justice. Piscoya said when he started the MMIP job last week, he was asked to look at the Arnold Dean Simon case, a 26-year-old Hooper Bay woman whose body was found along the park's highway in early January 2021. Piscoya said he'll bring a fresh point of view to this and other cases. He said these investigators put a lot of work into this case. There's supplemental report after supplemental report about different things that come up in these cases. Sometimes they forget about previous things. Sometimes they get inundated with other cases. And so for me, it's a fresh look. I'm not on a patrol schedule or a schedule to where I'm going to be called to a new case. I'm here to solely concentrate on one case. When Sears retired, the department said the next MMIP investigator will likely work with a tribal liaison on outreach and engagement. That's not happening just yet. Preliminary efforts are still underway before the department can recruit and hire for a tribal liaison to work with the MMIP investigator and other Alaska state troopers to improve communication with the Alaska tribes. Piscoya, as MMP investigator, will be part of the governor's Alaska Council on Missing and Murdered Indigenous Persons. The council, which started meeting earlier this year, is tasked with delivering a final report to the governor by October 15th that provides recommendations for improving interagency cooperation on missing person protocols, improving public safety in tribal communities that have no law enforcement presence, and offering ways to improve investigations. Council's next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, October 4th at 2 p.m. And this story also comes from Lisa Fu of the Alaska Beacon. 2 people died this week after a short time in Alaska Department of Corrections custody, bringing the total number of in-custody deaths this year to 14. Louis Matumiluk, age 37, was pronounced dead on September 25th at Alaska Regional Hospital after 13 days in corrections custody, becoming the 13th person to die in the state's prison system this year. The next day, Marcus Gillian, 48, was pronounced dead on September 26th, also at Alaska Regional Hospital, after 7 days in corrections custody. Gillian, according to a corrections press release, was the department's 14th in-custody death for 2022. Of the 14 deaths to occur in corrections custody so far this year, several have taken place after only a short time in state case. 2 deaths in August occurred after less than 24 hours. Next of kin for Matumiluk and Gillian have been notified. No foul play is suspected in either death. The corrections release said the number of in-custody deaths so far this year had already surpassed the 9 in-custody deaths that took place last year. Within the past 10 years, corrections saw the most deaths in 2015. 15 people died in custody that year. The troopers investigate every in-custody death, and the state medical examiner's office determines the cause. Citing confidentiality, corrections does not release medical information. And this story comes from the Alaska Beacon. Some Nenana area residents and tribal members say a state road project outside Nenana should be paused after what they describe as a failure by the state to adequately engage the public. The state wants to build 20 miles of new road to open access to agricultural opportunities and improve food security, but tribal members say expanding the Totcheket Road will go through ancestral land and further exhaust subsistence opportunities. Eva Burke said the state has already formulated the majority of the plan for the road without us, so it feels like we're getting railroaded. Burke is the vice chair of the Toghotle Corporation, the village native corporation for Nenana. Caroline Ketzler, Nenana Native Council's first chief, said the tribe has had little input into the project and the process has been rushed. Ketzler said the council opposes the new road development. She said all the tribe is asking is to be included in these processes, as well as these decisions and ideas, and to have everybody slow down on these plans just so they can get the right assessments done for historical sites and ancestral lands. The The Alaska Department of Transportation and Public Facilities Nenana-Tutchakett Road project involves improving the existing 12 miles of road and extending it west an additional 20 miles to end near the Kantishna River. Ketzler had known the state planned to work on the existing road, but she said she didn't learn about the extension until this summer. Ketzler said, "It leads to a village called Toklat, an old village. My grandma was born there on the river. It's a historical ancestral site, and there are burial grounds there as well. None of these questions were asked by the state, by DOT, by really anyone before hammering down and making these plans specific." According to the state, the project would provide improved access to the valley west of Nenana for agriculture, hunting, fishing, and other recreational uses. The project received $15 million from the state's capital budget. Ketzler said there are already too many hunters in the area, most of them non-native, competing for the same resources. She said, in our culture we're taught to only take what we need. Ketzler said her 97-year-old uncle and cousins go back to Ketzler Slough, a slough off the Kantishna River, named after her family, every fall to hunt for moose for their family and elders. She said, and they said, we just can't compete, we're outnumbered, there are too many people. Ketzler also said the new road extension would harm valuable ecosystems and doesn't want the state to cut more roads into a place that's been untouched the entirety of its lifetime. The state started preliminary outreach for the Tutchakett Road improvements and expansion late last year. A scoping letter from the state was sent to various groups and agencies on December 23, 2021. Jonathan Hutchinson, the project manager for the Nenana-Tutchakett Road, said the letter being sent so close to the holidays wasn't ideal timing. He said, "We didn't have a lot of time before that. We had just gotten funding to even start working on a project, I think 3 or 4 weeks before that. So the timing was such that we rushed that thing to get it out the door." He added that there wasn't a firm due date for scoping comments, which is typically 30 days. The comment period was left open. Scoping is the initial phase in a review process in which issues to be studied and addressed are identified. Burke, the vice chair of the corporation, said December is also when a lot of village and regional corporations hold elections. Burke said the first time we were given notice about this road was during that time frame. Most of us were new to office and didn't even have our email set up to intercept that communication until after the fact. Or we got it and we didn't have time to address it because we're getting back to the office after being off for a couple of weeks. Burke also thinks the timing of September 10th public meeting in Nenana was poor and didn't allow for a robust response from the community. Burke said you can't hold a public meeting in a rural community that is heavily dependent on moose hunting during moose hunting season and then have people have time to sit down and write a well-thought-out comment when they're getting off to the river dealing with moose meat. She said just the timing of something like this is so inappropriate. It doesn't give enough people the chance to speak up or be present. For his part, Hutchinson said DOT consulted with the corporation to come up with a date for the September meeting. The reach-out occurred on August 31st, though, one day before moose hunting season in the area begins. Hutchinson said DOT is not targeting certain dates to avoid public comments. He said, we're out here doing these public meetings that we don't have to be doing. It's not a required part of the process, but we're out here doing it. DOT also had a table at the June 10th Nenana Agricultural Education Day to share information about the road project. The project page for the Nenana Road lists the events as a public meeting. City of Nenana Mayor Joshua Verhagen said the road expansion has been part of the community development plan for several decades. He said it's not a new thing. He added that the city has long supported expanding the road and is a partner in the DOT project. Still, Verhagen had concerns with the state's process as well. He said DOT could have done better with outreach and letting the community know about the September 10th public meeting. He said that was one thing that I think they kind of failed at. They decided to put out notice only a few days beforehand to kind of meet their timeline, and I think they could have done better. The same goes with sharing work from all the studies that DOT has conducted. Verhagen said they could have spent a bit more time developing relationships with the local community members and entities and just giving more information. Public comments on the road project are due by September 30th. Hutchinson said the DOT takes the public involvement process and stakeholder comments very seriously. He's already received a mix of comments representing both sides of the spectrum. He said we're still collecting comments and we'll be addressing every single one of them. Though a date hasn't been set, Hutchinson said DOT is ramping up for a stakeholder-focused meeting in Inanna, looking at networking more with the tribe, the city, and other interested parties. 23 minutes after 7 o'clock.
As the school year begins, the North Slope Borough School District has fantastic news for all North Slope students. North Slope Borough School District, in partnership with Aztec, is offering to upgrade your household's current internet connection in order to bring education content from the school district to all North Slope Borough School District students. This upgrade won't cost you anything. Over the next couple of months, households with North Slope Borough School District students residing in them will be able to access this limited free offer. Our school district believes in the power of education to develop and empower all communities on the North Slope. The North Slope Borough School District is very excited about this opportunity to bring educational content to your home to help students succeed. This free service is part of a government grant and available for a limited time. This is a voluntary upgrade and you are not required to access it. If you have a student attending the North Slope Borough School District and would like to take advantage of this offer, please call Aztec at 1-800-478-6409 for more information on how to get this free North Slope Borough School District service.
COVID-19 vaccines protect against severe illness and are safe and effective. Vaccines are available for everyone aged 6 months and older. Alaskans 5 and older are eligible for a booster dose 5 months after their primary series. And if you're over 50 or immunocompromised, you should get a second booster 4 months after your visit. Immunity can decrease over time even if you've had COVID. Booster shots keep your protection strong. Learn more at covidvax.alaska.gov. A message from the Department of Health and Social Services.
You can stop by the Steam Dot Coffee Shop inside Stuakpuk for your favorite fresh-made coffee drink 7 days a week. And now you can join Steam Dot's paperless punch card program. Your coffee purchase will automatically be recorded in your Stuakpuk customer loyalty account. And once you buy 9 drinks, the 10th coffee drink is free. The paperless punch card program. It's on now at the Steam Dot Coffee Shop inside Stuakpuk. Open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to midnight, Sundays from 9 to 9.
Here's the weather forecast for Wednesday, September 28th from the National Weather Service. High pressure extends northwest to southeast across the Arctic with a high 300 nautical miles north of Kaktovik. Low pressure will push north over the Arctic coast tonight as the high moves east of Banks Island with weak high pressure extending west along 75 degrees north. Low pressure will continue to push north across the offshore waters on Thursday, while high pressure will build near the dateline. Northern Arctic coast will be mostly cloudy today with areas of freezing fog and high near 32, east winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy tonight, areas of freezing fog, a low around 29, east winds around 25 miles an hour. Thursday, cloudy with areas of fog and freezing fog, a high near 34, northeast winds 20 to 25 miles an hour. Thursday night, cloudy, areas of fog and freezing fog, 20% chance of snow, a low around 30, northeast winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Friday, cloudy with a 40% chance of snow, areas of freezing fog, and high near 31. Chukchi Seacoast, including Point Hope, partly sunny today with a high near 43, north winds around 10 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy, 20% chance of showers, a low around 35, north winds around 20 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy on Thursday, 30% chance of showers, a high near 41, north winds 20 to 25 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy Thursday night, 30% chance of showers, areas of fog, a low around 26. North winds around 25 miles an hour. Friday, mostly cloudy with areas of fog, 30% chance of showers, and a high near 40. Southwestern Arctic coast, including Point Lay. Today, mostly sunny with a high near 37, east winds around 15 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy tonight, a low around 29, east winds around 20 miles an hour. Cloudy on Thursday, 20% chance of snow mixing with rain with a high near 36, northeast winds 15 miles an hour. Thursday night, cloudy, 30% chance of rain and snow, areas of fog, a low around 32, north winds around 15 miles an hour. Cloudy on Friday, 30% chance of rain and snow, areas of freezing fog, and high near 37. Northwestern Arctic coast, including Wainwright, partly sunny today, a high near 34, east winds around 15 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy tonight, a low around 29, east winds around 20 miles an hour. Cloudy on Thursday, 10% chance of rain and snow, a high near 35, northeast winds around 20 miles an hour. Cloudy Thursday night, 20% chance of rain and snow, areas of fog and freezing fog, low around 31, north winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Cloudy on Friday, 30% chance of rain and snow, areas of freezing fog, and a high near 33. Central Beaufort Seacoast, today, partly sunny with areas of fog and freezing fog, high near 34, east winds around 15 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy tonight, areas of freezing fog, low around 28, east winds around 20 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy on Thursday, areas of fog and freezing fog, high near 36, east winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. Thursday night, mostly cloudy, 10% chance of snow, areas of freezing fog, low around 28, west winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Cloudy on Friday, 30% chance of snow with a high near 32. Eastern Beaufort Seacoast, including Koktovik. Today, partly sunny with areas of fog and freezing fog and a high near 34, east winds 20 to 25 miles an hour. Partly cloudy tonight, areas of fog and freezing fog, low around 29, east winds 25 to 30 miles an hour. Partly sunny on Thursday, areas of fog and freezing fog, a high near 37, east winds 25 to 30 miles an hour. Thursday night, mostly cloudy, areas of fog, low around 30, southwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, becoming west 15 to 20 miles an hour after midnight. Mostly cloudy on Friday, 20% chance of rain and snow, and a high near 36. Northeast Brooks Range, mostly sunny today, high near 28, southeast winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy tonight, 20% chance of snow, low around 21, southeast winds around 15 miles an hour. Partly sunny on Thursday, 20% chance of snow and a high near 32, southeast winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy Thursday night, 60% chance of snow, patchy freezing fog, low around 24, south winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming southwest after midnight. Cloudy on Friday, 50% chance of snow and a high near 36. Northwest Brooks Range, today, sunny with a high near 37, south winds around 10 miles an hour. Tonight, increasing clouds, 30% chance of snow, low around 20, south winds around 5 miles an hour. Thursday, mostly cloudy, 30% chance of snow, then scattered rain showers, a high near 40, south winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Thursday night, cloudy, 60% chance of rain, then snow showers, patchy freezing fog, low around 28. Calm winds are becoming south around 5 miles an hour. Cloudy on Friday, 50% chance of rain and snow, patchy freezing fog, and a high near 36. Now the marine forecast issued at 4:29 a.m. this morning. Cape Thompson to Cape Beaufort, a small craft advisory in effect from tonight through early Thursday morning. Today, northeast winds 20 knots, seas building to 4 feet. Tonight, northeast winds 25 knots, seas to 6 feet. Thursday and Thursday night, north winds 25 knots, seas to 6 feet with fog. Friday, north winds 20 knots, seas to 5 feet. Cape Beaufort to Point Franklin, today, east winds 20 knots, seas to 4 feet with freezing spray. Tonight and Thursday, northeast winds 20 knots, seas to 4 feet. Thursday night and Friday, north winds 20 knots, seas to 4 feet with fog and freezing spray. Point Franklin to Cape Halkett, small craft advisory in effect from late tonight through early Thursday morning. Today, east winds 20 knots, seas to 4 feet with freezing fog and freezing spray. Tonight, east winds 25 knots, seas to 5 feet, freezing fog and freezing spray. Thursday, east winds 20 knots, seas to 6 feet, freezing fog and freezing spray. Thursday night and Friday, north winds 20 knots, seas 7 feet, subsiding to 6 feet, freezing fog and freezing spray. Cape Halkett to Flaxman Island, small craft advisory in effect from late this afternoon through early Thursday morning. Today, east winds 20 knots, increasing to 25 knots, seas building to 5 feet, freezing fog and freezing spray. Tonight and Thursday, east winds 25 knots, seas to 9 feet, freezing fog and freezing spray. Thursday night, northeast winds 15 knots, seas to 8 feet with freezing fog. Friday, west winds 20 knots, seas to 5 feet. Flaxman Island to Demarcation Point, small craft advisory in effect from late this afternoon through early Thursday morning. Today, east winds 20 knots, increasing to 25 knots, seas building to 5 feet, freezing fog, freezing spray. Tonight, east winds 30 knots, east to 9 feet with freezing fog and freezing spray. Thursday, east winds 35 knots, east to 11 feet, fog and freezing fog. Thursday night, southeast winds 25 knots, east to 9 feet with fog. Friday, west winds 25 knots, east to 6 feet. Once again, the forecast for the northern Arctic coast, mostly cloudy today with areas of freezing fog and a high near 32, east winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy tonight, areas of freezing fog, a low around 29, east winds around 25 miles an hour. Thursday, cloudy with areas of fog and freezing fog, high near 34, northeast winds 20 to 25 miles an hour. Thursday night, cloudy with a 20% chance of snow, areas of fog and freezing fog, a low around 30, northeast winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Friday, cloudy, 40% chance of snow, areas of freezing fog, and a high near 31.
The new government's economic policies this week sent the British pound falling to a record low against the dollar. I'm Lakshmi Singh, NPR News.